He really is done, huh? I knew the old dog was going to be the curse bearer. And I spent all of my time talking to the newbie cop. I wonder what the other dialogue options with him would have been. I'll leave the questions up to him. I got nothing to ask. Wait, that's all you're gonna say? That's all he says. Since Harue is number 2 on this list, we will go with her first. Not dreams. When the son of Harue Shigema was kidnapped, a botched investigation by the police resulted in the child's murder. 1 year later, Harue has hired a private investigator to help resolve the unsettled case. Late at night, while speaking to the detective in her home, something strange suddenly appears. Oh. May those who mock fires perish in flame. Kill them! Kill them! The flame bearers. Kill them all! You have acquired the power of the cursed stone, the haunting clappers. Oh! Harue wasn't the beach. Harue wasn't the evergreen beach. She was the haunting clappers. That makes more sense now. The haunting clappers. Let's see. So we did read the Haunting Clapper's tale already. If you weren't there or if you need a refresher, feel free to pause the video. Alright, we're gonna move on and read the new stuff. Accursed power. Kills by burning one who is in possession of fire or a fire-starting device. A resentful memory. Red. 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 Everything is dyed crimson. My home is burning to the ground. It's hot. So hot. I must call for help, but I cannot speak. My throat must have burned up from the smoke. I think I'm already on fire. That's right. That's right. I'll just use the clappers. Is anybody there? Why is no one coming? I'm gonna burn to death. How did it come to this? Right. Her. It must be the work of that vixen who appeared suddenly and enchanted my lord. That witch! Those hauntingly cold eyes had my lord dancing in the palm of her hand. Perhaps I was also taken in by her. How many innocent people did I lure in under orders? This must be karma. The sound of a heavy bell. It feels like my head will split open. Right. The evening bell. That must be why nobody can hear the sound of my clappers. I've got to do it louder. That sucks. Aw, man. He wasn't heard. It's so sad. A murderous impulse seeps into my soul like thick black tar. Kill! Can you hear it, Free Sparrow? You who so strongly desires the right. Kill them! Back with me, ma'am? I forgot the voice that I gave to him. Mr. Flamboyant over here. Can't say I understand what just happened. But it certainly seems to have put you in a good mood. This might be the first time I've ever seen you really smile. Sweet dreams? So this is who we're playing now. Harue Shigema. Female. Housewife. Curse Echo, The Haunting Clappers. Harue is a housewife who resides in a manor near Shumoku Bridge. Her 11-year-old son, Shuichi, was kidnapped and murdered about a year ago. The death was the result of a mistake on the part of the detective assigned to the case. A mistake which enraged the kidnapper and had him cut off all contact with the police, leaving no room for negotiation. The incident was covered up and Shuichi's killer remains at large, leading the aggrieved Harue to call on the services of private investigator Richter Kai to uncover the truth. The Shigema family came from a line of samurai who built their residence in Honjo during the Edo period. They assumed important positions in the police force following the Meiji Revolution, thereby protecting their family's elevated status. Even today, many in the Shigema line work as police bureaucrats and senior police officers. Harue's father sits in the upper echelons of the National Police Agency, and her husband, adopted into the Shigema clan through an arranged marriage, is also a highly respected agency official. However, as her family prioritizes work above all else, it wasn't long before Harue's marriage grew cold. Though she wants for nothing, she is isolated from her neighbors and withdrawn from society. Seeing her son grow into a young man gave Harue a purpose in life, but it was cut short by the kidnapping incident. Following the incident, Harue spent many days in a deep depression, breaking into a sudden fits of shouting and wandering around in the middle of the night. Aww. Her cheerful, loving disposition faded away, and she took to making snide remarks at her husband, which only further soured their relationship. A few months ago, Harue's husband was transferred to another area for work and now rarely returns home, with Harue left to live in the large empty mansion alone. I feel like that could have been worded better. Now rarely returns home, leaving Harue in the large empty mansion alone. Yeah. As a housekeeper who's been with the family for a long time comes in to take care of all of her housework, Harue has nothing but time on her hands. Yeah, we'll just leave it. I'm not gonna say anything about that. No. not dreams. Sounds like something I might want to hear about. Am I just turning him into a country boy? Okay, let's investigate the area first, shall we? Well, I'll be damned. Is that what I think it is? Goodness, you made me jump. It's just a silly little sticker my son got from somewhere or other. He put it up just before. Well, you know what happened. I still can't bring myself to take it down. Let me take a closer look. What is that? Is that a chicken? It's a rooster! I knew it! It's Head Hencho from way back in set number 1. This is a real collector's item. Excuse me? Don't tell me you've never heard of the mockingbirds. The what? They're the hottest new craze. I thought the occult craze was the hottest new craze. Cute little birds dressed up like rough and tumble delinquents. I've never heard of them, but this certainly seems to matter to you. The best part is, nobody knows who made them. They just started showing up around town. Soon enough, they'd won everybody's hearts. The story goes that they're made by some anonymous artist who covertly leaves them behind in specific locations. No one knows when or where they'll show up next. They're basically an urban legend of sorts. To think, one would turn up here of all places. This is a good sign. I'm sure of it. Oh, well, that's nice. Oh, loud. We got collectible, boys! Oh, now we gotta look for them. There are so many. I feel like collecting all of them is gonna be tied to her good ending, if there even is a good ending. Alright, well, we found one mockingbird. What else could we look at? Alright, Richter Kai. A private investigator I hired. A friend told me about him. They said he's not very well known, but he's good at what he does. When I first visited his office in Oda City, I saw how he dressed. I could hardly believe he was a detective. But after talking to him for a while, I changed my mind. He says some strange things at times, but he seems like the reliable sort. Richter Kai. Male, private investigator. Curse echo? None. The eccentric man that Shogo Okie ran into at Hoenji Bridge. Richter is actually a private investigator with an office in Oda City, Tokyo. After taking on a request from Harue Shigema to investigate the unsolved kidnapping and murder of her son, he gets caught up in the events surrounding the rite of resurrection. Once a police officer, Richter was racked with guilt over the police's inability to help all of those in need, and quit the force to start his own private investigation firm. Good for you! However, his soft-hearted nature leads him to take on too many cases, and has put his office in dire financial straits. How he's still in business is a mystery, with some whispering that a wealthy patron is keeping him afloat. Richter studied alongside Detective June Erio at the police academy. Oh, the newbie cop! Somewhat surprisingly, given his outlandish clothing and mannerisms, Richter excels at covert investigations and tailing his targets. He proudly refers to himself as an investigator extraordinaire, though that only ever succeeds at impressing himself. Do things for yourself. Do what makes you happy. Don't let anyone put you down. Good for you, Richter. Richter's biggest source of happiness is nuzzling his pet female albino parakeet, Ernestine, which he keeps in his office. He also enjoys collecting mockingbird stickers, a popular line of merchandise featuring birds inexplicably dressed like delinquents, and can be frequently sighted searching around town for them. While out and about, Richter typically leaves the office, and more importantly Ernestine, in the care of Amamori, a junior high schooler who volunteered to assist Richter after being involved in a previous case. Amamori. So her name isn't highlighted like June's or Harue's, so she's probably not that important to the story. Though Shogo's isn't highlighted either, so who knows? Azure Heron Agency. Aha! Get it? Because it's AHA? Okay. Okay, Richter Kai, my boy. Let's talk. Let me bring you up to speed. We were in the middle of a chat when you suddenly started spacing out. This is what happened with Yoko. She was freaking out. But then she died. It also happened to Shogo, right? He knocked out and he didn't die. I'm confused. Anyway. And the whole time you were grinning to yourself like you just won the lottery. Care to tell me what that was all about? Well, where to start? Interesting. Very interesting. So, the haunting Clapper's curse echo appeared out of nowhere. Told you how to perform the rite of resurrection and gave you the curse you'll need to do it? Have I got that right? That's right. So it's all real. Honestly, I still find it hard to believe. But I guess I have to now. I saw that cursed stone appear in your hand myself. Looked like it popped clean out of thin air. With evidence that clear, there's no denying that there's some supernatural force at work. Think. My heart's still racing. This is it. My chance. At long last. Think again. Same dialogue. Okay, well, let's keep talking then. I don't think you quite understand. Oh? This isn't about evidence, and it isn't about belief. It's more than that. I know it's real. The moment the curse appeared, I knew everything before it even said a word. It was already there. in my head, as clear as day. You just knew, huh? It was etched into my soul, along with the curse echo's resentful memories. So I can feel it, what it was like. Dying like they did, hundreds of years ago. Wreathed in flame, writhing in pain as my flesh blackens and my blood boils. I can feel it. All the agony, all the rage. It fills me with bloodlust. I think I need to kill someone. Anyone will do, just as long as they're carrying fire. I see. That could be a problem. You think so? From what I know of you, I was sure you'd see it as an opportunity. The stronger the desire to resurrect someone, the stronger the urge to kill. That's how it seems to me, anyway. So Richter was trying to help Shogo. He asked for the lighter. We just stupidly did not give it to him. We thought it was automatic, so sorry. Good grief. Talk about a spanner in the works. I say, we take stock for a moment. Remind ourselves where we've come from and where we're going. That might be a good idea. Anything new? Let's think. No new dialogue, so I guess talk to me. Tell me what you want me to know. About the investigation. That's what you hired me for, ma'am. To look into your son's kidnapping last year. To uncover the truth behind the abduction and murder of Shuichi Shigema. Oh. Yes, I remember. They never did find the one who did it. That's what I'm here about today, in fact. Kind of you to let me drop by so late, by the way. I've been turning over every last stone, and I've come up with a grand total of 1 lead. So you said. As far as the police are concerned, it's a cold case, but I've managed to make some headway. I remember. You were just about to tell me. A kidnapping and murder case that took place in Honjo Sumida around 1 year ago. Harue Shigema's son, Shuichi, age 11, was kidnapped on his way home from school, with a ransom being demanded that same evening. Initially, the kidnapping was thought of as a simple extortion scheme, but when it came to light that the Shigema family was closely tied to the police, and Shuichi was in fact the grandson of a senior official, it was quickly assumed that the perpetrator was acting upon a grudge against the police force. The kidnapping was treated as a direct attack against the good name of the police, and a large-scale investigation was launched that used the best equipment available to trace phone calls. This made it all the more embarrassing when they were unable to catch the culprit, losing the public's confidence. The culprit grew cocky, relentlessly mocking the police force. After 3 days of failure after failure, Harue reached a breaking point. Spurred by concern for her son, she resolved to hand over the ransom money as fast as possible. But her husband and father, who held the prestige of the police in high regard, refused, saying that they would not let the criminal win by giving in to their demands. The increasingly frantic detective assigned to the case lost his temper when the criminal called to give him an ultimatum, causing the culprit to never make contact again. Another week passed, and Shuichi's body was found floating in the Sumida River. Shuichi's death could be largely ascribed to the police's incompetence, but this was ultimately covered up with stringent media embargoes. The investigation was never closed, but the case has long gone cold. I wonder who the police officer was, and if it has any ties to any of the characters that we've been introduced to already. You know, besides Harue. Shuichi Shiguma, male, elementary school student. Kurseko? None. Because he's dead. The only son of Harue Shiguma, he was kidnapped and murdered 1 year ago. His body was discovered floating in the Sumida River. Shuichi was a conscientious, brave young boy who was determined to protect his mother, Harue, amid his father's frequent absences. He dreamed of becoming a police officer and displayed diligence and an impressive sense of responsibility from a young age, likely due to being raised in an extremely strict environment. Born in the early 70s, he spent his days immersed in various activities and studies, including playing piano, learning the abacus, taking English lessons, and training in kendo. Shuichi's tendency to put other people's needs over his own meant he died without ever telling his classmates how much he longed for them all to go out on a hunt for mockingbird stickers. Aww. He was too shy to ask his friends to hang out. Talk to me. Okay, we can delve more into the investigation, so let's do that. You know, we still need to figure out exactly what you want me to do. Tell you what, why don't I tell you what I've found, and then we can make a decision. All right. Tell me about the kidnapping. I suppose there's not much point going over the kidnapping itself. No, I'm very familiar. Then I'll leave that for the files to cover and just confirm a few things about the case. The police traced the culprit's calls back to... let's see here... Northern Oyoko River, here in Sumida City. That's quite a wide area. That's right. In the end, they never managed to nail down exactly where the calls were coming from. But it was almost certainly the same location that Shuichi was being held captive, since Shuichi's voice could be heard during the killer's calls. Northern Oyoko River is quite a distance from Shuichi's normal school commute. Factoring in that he was seen at school, but went missing before he arrived at his house, it's likely that he was abducted by car on his route home. Maybe, but... Exactly. Shuichi was a clever boy. He never would have gotten into a car with a stranger. That's right. I was very firm about that. I know he understood, too. I even saw him warning the other children. It's possible that they forced him into the car. The only issue there is there weren't any witnesses to the kidnapping. You can't bundle someone into a car with that many students around and not be noticed. But nobody came forward to say that they saw anything suspicious. So, did they target him at some other time? Or somewhere away from his usual route? Both of those seem a little far-fetched. Which raises the question, how did the kidnapper pull it off? The police never managed to find an answer. In the end, they decided that the kidnapper might just have gotten lucky. Well, why not turn the problem on its head? Let's think. Let's think about this. Nope, let's not think about this. Let's keep talking about it. The kidnapper managed to convince Shuichi to get into their car. But how? The only thing that makes sense to me is if they were somebody that he would have a reason to trust. A teacher, perhaps? Or a relative? Or somebody else that he knew. But all of the adults Shuichi knew had alibis. The police checked them all, thoroughly. They did, huh? No one throws numbers at a problem like the cops. But what if it wasn't someone he knew? Or rather, what if the culprit disguised themselves as a police officer? Huh? That would explain why he didn't find them suspicious. The Shigema family has close ties with the police, after all. He would have had a reason to trust them. You might be right. But surely that couldn't have... Well, there is a problem with the theory. You'd be surprised how much police officers stand out. That's sort of the point, after all. They're meant to be visible deterrent against crime. But here's another interesting little bit of trivia I happen to know. When you ask people to imagine someone suspicious, nobody pictures women or children. Even kids who've been warned about stranger danger often subconsciously expect that danger to look like an adult man. Besides, Shuichi was the sort of boy who wanted to be a police officer when he grew up. He must have had a very strong sense of right and wrong. That's right. Oh, wait. Surely you can't mean... Now you're getting it. If, say, a young woman approached Shuichi asking for help, what would he have done? If someone like that said they were lost and asked them for directions, would he have gotten into a car? He might have. My husband always told him that a man had a duty to watch out for women and children. You could certainly argue that kind of attitude is outdated nowadays. But if Shuichi believed it, then we might have something here. Then you think the culprit was a woman? But... no, it was a man's voice on the phone. She might have been an accomplice, or maybe she didn't even realize she was being used. If anything, that would explain why she hasn't come forward. She herself might not realize she had anything to do with the case. So, the question is, did anybody see Shuichi speaking with a young woman on the day of his disappearance? See, what I said about people's biases, that goes for witnesses too. And I figured that maybe if I started asking new questions, I might get some new answers. So I spent my day asking around Shuichi's school route, seeing if anyone had seen something. And one man thought he had. Do you mean he saw it happen? Well, I can't say that for sure yet. Turned out, he wanted something from me. So he asked if we could talk in private. Here we go. All right, this should do. There's no one around. We can speak in confidence. Excuse me, what was your name again? Jonouchi. Got it. Well, Jonouchi, I'm all ears. Just so we're on the same page. You're a private detective investigating Shuichi Shigemu's kidnapping. Do I have that right? Of course. What else do I look like? How should I know what a private detective looks like? Forget it. Look, I'll tell you straight. My life is in danger. I need your help. Huh? You'll excuse me if that caught me a little off guard. Let me ask you straight. Who is trying to kill you? And why? A student called Michio Shiraishi. Interesting. Schoolgirl, huh? Sounds like you've been naughty. It's nothing like that. That girl, she's a murderer. I'm the only one who knows, but I saw what she did. Michio Shiraishi. I saw her kidnap Shuichi Shigema. Come again? I saw her talk to him on the street and lead him away. I didn't think much of it at the time, but then he went missing. She murdered him. I'm sure of it. Or at least she's got something to do with it. That's what you're here for, isn't it? Then you can't let her get to me. If that's true, you've been sitting on some valuable information. Why didn't you tell anybody? Well, you see... If you can't explain that, I don't have any reason to believe you. I couldn't! She told me. She told me she'd kill me if I spoke a word. You're telling me a schoolgirl had you scared for your life? Right? So you've been sitting on that all this time, and you think she's coming for you now? Now that you spilled the beans? Yes, that's it, exactly. I'm begging you, don't let her get to me. Arrest her, I'm telling you, she's a demon. Well, you seem to believe what you're saying, but it just doesn't add up. How could a schoolgirl have a fully grown man so terrified? You don't know what she can do. She'll curse me. Curse you? I'm sorry, but you're losing me here. It's true, her house, it's... forget it. Why do I even bother? You seem dubious enough to believe me, but I should have known you'd never understand. Enough. I'll find someone else to help me. Hey! A curse, you say? A curse, a curse! And that's about the long and short of it. I can hardly believe it. At the time, I thought his mention of curses was just crazy talk. But I'm starting to see that there might have been more to it. Then, if we can just find that girl. Curse or no curse, if she was with Shuichi on the day of the kidnapping, then there's a good chance she knows something. On top of that, I did some digging on the man I spoke to. His full name's Kohei Jonuichi. He's a teacher at Komagata High School, here in Sumida. A teacher? Then this schoolgirl is one of his students? I think that's very likely. I need more dirt. At last, we've got a lead. Hopefully, it'll be the breakthrough we're looking for. Anything new about the investigation? Okay, nothing new. About the rite of resurrection. The rite of resurrection, huh? I read about that in an occult magazine the other day. Apparently, some old book showed up recently with all the gory details. And they say that the rite can be found somewhere here in Honjo. I remember the first time you told me about that. It felt like my prayers had been heard. Like I had hope. Real hope. For the first time. Ever since that awful day, I've wondered, what if I hadn't sent him to school? What if I just paid the ransom? Not a day goes by when I don't think that if I'd done something differently, Shuichi would still be alive. You can't blame yourself, man. It was the culprit's fault, not yours. Though I know that won't help any. Grief's funny like that. I'm guessing that's why you're after the right? Guess I didn't need to ask. It's written all over your face. I can tell how much he meant to you. But, and this is a big but, if this right is the real deal, using it will mean killing someone and stealing their soul. Is that a problem? Her eyes are so dead. She lost her baby boy. She lost her entire identity, man. She's desperate. Desperate! If it comes to that, I'm afraid I'll have to stop you. That's a shame. Shame, huh? That's all? I thought if I'm going to be competing with other curse bearers, then your detective skills might come in useful. You realize you're talking about ending someone's life, right? Don't you see an issue with that? Her face was like, no. I think any parent in my position would happily kill for a chance like this. That's so. Dear, oh dear. What have I gotten myself into? Oh, you're just gonna keep sitting there, though. Okay. If it makes you that uncomfortable, then you won't have to get any blood on your hands yourself. I don't need you to kill the other curse bearers. I only need you to find them. I won't be party to murder, ma'am. Not even for a client. I'll pay you, 'cause I'm desperate. How much can I give you to change your mind? Sorry, ma'am, but not everyone has a price. I've got my policies, and I stick to them. I see. I didn't realize you were so stubborn. Let me just say, though, it's not like I don't get what you're going through. As long as you're not killing anyone with your own hands, maybe I can help you. And what did you have in mind? Well, how about stealing someone else's curse stone after they've filled it with soul dregs? If that was all you were after, then I could lend you my services, guilt-free. If the other curse bearers want to kill each other, that's their business. I'm not trying to be a hero here. I guess there's no guarantee a stolen curse stone will work, but we can worry about that later. Well then, I suppose we have a deal. Although, what if I stole a curse stone using my curse? Would you disapprove? That would void our contract, ma'am. Just warning you now. About my curse. Before we go any further, why don't you tell me about that curse of yours? The haunting clappers, was it? That's one of the 7 mysteries of Honjo, if I remember correctly. That's right. The original story did happen somewhere near here, I think. I'm sure I remember hearing that. In that case, my money would be on all the curse bearers being somewhere in Honjo. Our first move should be to narrow them down. Some of them are bound to try and come for you first. We'll need to be ready. The curses make the bearers more willing to kill, so an attack could come from anywhere. That sounds sensible. And if I remember correctly, your haunting clappers can set people on fire. But only if they have a naked flame. Or a lighter on the person. Is that right? That's right. In olden times, wooden clappers were used to warn people of fire. I'm guessing it punishes those who don't heed the warning. Seems like a good curse to have. It's simple and straightforward enough to use. Although it's hard to say how it stacks up without knowing what else is on the table. You really think it's that good? The target can't do much to throw it off. And it has a nice long activation window. It's big that it works on lighters too. Just slip one into your target's pocket. Wait, yo, what if the game did give him the lighter and just she slipped it back into my pocket? My being Shogo's pocket. Like when we got into the park. That's messed up. That's hella rude. I gave you that lighter as a favor, Richter, and you betrayed me. And say that condition were already fulfilled before they even knew you were there. They wouldn't even know what hit them. Maybe I won't actually have to use it. I could just tell someone I could, and they'd have to do what I said. Threats could work, although without any proof, it'll come down to how convincing you can be. If only you could use the curse, then back out at the last second. At the last second? What an interesting idea. And this is why she did the countdown. I have a lighter right here. We could try it now. That's an interesting proposition. But maybe not. I'm not quite crazy enough to make myself a guinea pig. Oh, I see. You're an odd one, ma'am, if you don't mind me saying. And I don't think it's just a curse. You flatterer. Harue, you're so weird. As for what we do next, first of all, I think you should stay indoors. Try not to do anything spontaneous or outside of your normal routine. Right then. Have you decided what you want me working on? Okay, so this for sure is a branching path, right? So obviously on Shogo's route, Richter is helping her with the right. But I want him to investigate the kidnapping. Yeah. Do what you were intended to do. Finally I have a lead. I need to know what happened to my son. Your wish is my command, ma'am. I'll focus all my efforts on looking into the kidnapping. Although, something just occurred to me. You can't investigate the matter at night, can you? At least until the sun rises. Oh, it doesn't matter what choice we made anyway. At least until the sun rises, could you search for the other curse bearers? All right. I'll see how it goes. I'd be happy to help. Odds are good that the other curse bearers are also working by night. This says others curse bearers. Anyone they kill under the cover of darkness won't be discovered until sunrise. I bet they'll be trying to do as much as they can before morning comes. So it's settled then. I'll look into the other curse bearers by night. And once the city wakes up, and I can start asking questions, I'll investigate the kidnapping as well. I'll even try and find Miss Shiraishi as part of the bargain. When are you gonna sleep? Is my question. When are you gonna sleep, Richter? This sounds like a lot of work you're gonna be doing. A lot of problems piled on your plate. Thank you. That's more than enough. That's definitely more. Now then. I should get to work. There's only so much time before sunrise. I'll call you if I find anything new. You stay here. Keep a lookout. All right. There's no telling what kinds of curses you might find out on the streets tonight. Don't go outside if you can help it. And try to be ready for anything. I will. Well, if that's all, I should be going.